One simple oil used the wrong way could be working against your kidneys without you even realizing it. And the frustrating part, it's something many people use every single day, believing it's actually helping. Nothing feels wrong at first, no clear warning signs, but over time, small changes start to show up. Energy drops, that heavy feeling after meals lingers. Your body just doesn't respond the way it used to. So you try to fix it. Drink more water, cut back on salt, add supplements. But what if the real issue isn't what you're missing? It's what you've been using all along without ever questioning it. Because not all oils affect your body the same way. Some can support circulation, reduce internal stress, and make it easier for your system to handle waste. Others do the opposite, slowly adding more strain over time without making it obvious. So instead of guessing, let's break it down. In this video, you'll discover 5 oils that can support your kidneys, ranked from the least effective to the most powerful. So you know what actually makes a difference, and which one might change the way you use oils starting today. 5. Flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil is often seen as one of the healthiest oils you can use, but when it comes to supporting your kidneys, that belief is only half true. It doesn't flush waste. It doesn't create fast, noticeable changes. And that's exactly why many people underestimate it, or stop using it too early. Because flaxseed oil doesn't work on the surface. After 60, one of the biggest problems affecting kidney function isn't just buildup. It's chronic inflammation and unstable blood flow inside the tiny vessels that feed your kidneys. When that system is under constant pressure, filtration slows down, even if you don't feel it right away. This is where flaxseed oil comes in. It's one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, a type of omega-3 that helps regulate inflammation and support more stable circulation. And your kidneys depend on that stability more than most people realize. In research, omega-3 intake has been linked to improved blood pressure control and reduced inflammatory stress, both directly connected to how efficiently your kidneys can function over time. But here's the catch. The effect isn't dramatic. It builds slowly. There's no sudden shift, no immediate light feeling that tells you it's working. And for many people, that's the reason they quit, right before it starts making a difference. Flaxseed oil supports the system, but it doesn't push it. That makes it useful, but limited. How you use it matters. 1 tablespoon per day is enough. Always take it cold. Never cook with it. Heat breaks down the omega-3 compounds that give it value. You can mix it into smoothies, drizzle it over food, or take it directly. And one important caution, flaxseed oil can slightly thin the blood. For most people, that's not an issue. But if you're taking medications related to clotting, this is something you should pay attention to. So no, flaxseed oil isn't a quick fix. But for stabilizing the internal environment your kidneys rely on, it's a quiet, consistent support that most people overlook. 4. Coconut oil. Coconut oil has been talked about for years, but the way most people use it completely misses what actually makes it useful. It's often grouped into the same category as other healthy fats, something you cook with, something you add in here and there. But coconut oil doesn't behave like most oils once it enters your body. Its structure is different. It's made up of medium-chain fatty acids, which are absorbed and processed much faster than typical fats. Instead of moving slowly through your system, they're handled quickly. And that changes how your body responds. That difference matters more than it seems. A lot of the strain placed on your kidneys doesn't start at the kidneys themselves. It builds earlier, during digestion and metabolism. When that process isn't efficient, more unwanted byproducts circulate through your system, and your kidneys have to deal with the aftermath. Coconut oil helps clean up that part of the process. It supports a healthier gut environment, helps your body break down fats more efficiently, and limits the kind of buildup that adds unnecessary pressure over time. Less internal friction means less work being passed down the line, and this is where people begin to notice a shift. Meals feel easier to handle. That heavy, slow feeling after eating starts to ease. Your system feels more responsive, and that carries through. The problem is, not all coconut oil delivers that effect. A lot of products are refined, processed, and stripped down. What's left is far less active. The version that actually works is the one that hasn't been heavily altered, the kind that still contains those original compounds. Quantity also makes a difference, but more isn't better. A small amount is enough to support the process. Taking too much too quickly can overwhelm your system, especially if you're not used to it. So this isn't just about adding another oil into your routine. Used properly, coconut oil changes how your body handles what comes in, and that alone can reduce the pressure your kidneys deal with every day. 3. MCT oil. MCT oil became popular for a reason. It doesn't behave like the fats your body is used to handling. Most oils go through a slow process. They sit in your digestive system, wait for enzymes, and move step by step before your body can actually use them. That delay creates buildup, especially when your system isn't working as efficiently as it once did. MCT oil moves differently. It's absorbed quickly and sent straight to the liver, where it's converted into usable energy almost immediately. There's no long waiting process, no lingering in your system. What you consume gets processed, and that changes the overall flow inside your body. When that flow improves, the effect goes beyond just energy. Less material sits around waiting to be broken down. Fewer byproducts accumulate in the bloodstream. Your system becomes more efficient at handling what comes in instead of letting it build up over time, and that directly affects how much work your kidneys have to take on. Because your kidneys don't just filter waste, they deal with everything your body fails to process properly. When digestion slows or metabolism becomes inefficient, that extra load has to go somewhere. Over time, it adds pressure where you don't see it. MCT oil helps reduce that pressure before it builds. That's why people often notice a difference fairly quickly. Energy feels more stable throughout the day. That heavy, sluggish feeling after meals doesn't linger the same way. Your body feels like it's actually using what you give it instead of letting it sit. At the same time, it's not something you should jump into all at once. Because it works fast, taking too much too early can overwhelm your system. Your body isn't used to processing fats at that speed, and the adjustment can be uncomfortable if you rush it. Starting small tends to work better. A teaspoon per day is enough in the beginning. Give your system time to adapt, then increase gradually if needed. The goal isn't to force a reaction. It's to shift your body into a more efficient rhythm. The form you choose also matters. A clean, concentrated MCT oil maintains the structure that makes this process possible. Blended or diluted versions don't deliver the same effect, even if they look similar. So, this isn't just another oil added to your routine. It changes how your body handles energy at a fundamental level. And that shift can take a noticeable amount of pressure off your system, including what your kidneys deal with every day. 2. Avocado oil. Avocado oil doesn't usually get the same attention as other oils, but the way it supports your body is far more direct than most people realize. It's not about quick changes or noticeable reactions. In fact, many people use it without expecting much, which is exactly why its impact often goes overlooked. The difference starts with its composition. Avocado oil is rich in monounsaturated fats, particularly oleic acid, the same type of fat found in some of the most studied heart-supportive diets. But what matters here isn't just the fat itself. It's how it influences circulation. Your kidneys rely on steady, consistent blood flow to function properly. Every minute, they filter large volumes of blood, removing waste while maintaining balance in your system. When that flow becomes restricted or unstable, even slightly, filtration efficiency begins to drop. It doesn't happen all at once, and it's not something you immediately feel, but the effect builds over time. This is where avocado oil stands out. It helps support vascular function, making it easier for blood to move efficiently through the system. Less resistance, less internal strain, and a more stable environment for your kidneys to do their job. That kind of support isn't loud. There's no sudden shift or immediate signal telling you something has changed. But internally, it creates conditions that make everything run more smoothly. And that matters more than most people think. Over time, that stability translates into something noticeable. Energy feels more consistent. Your body doesn't fluctuate as much after meals. There's less of that underlying heaviness that tends to linger when your system is under pressure. What makes this different from the oils before it is how foundational it is. Instead of targeting one part of the process, it supports the system your kidneys depend on at every stage, from circulation to overall balance. Using it is simple. A small daily amount is enough. It can be added to meals, used as a finishing oil, or incorporated into your routine without needing to change much. The key is consistency, not quantity. Quality still plays a role. Unrefined, cold-pressed avocado oil retains the compounds that give it value. Heavily processed versions lose much of that, even if they look the same on the shelf. So this isn't about adding something new or complicated. It's about supporting the pathway your kidneys rely on every second and keeping that system working the way it's supposed to. 1. Extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is something most people already use, but very few understand what it's actually doing inside their body. It's often treated as just another cooking oil, something you add to food, something that tastes good. But once it enters your system, the effect goes far beyond that. The key lies in its structure. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the richest natural sources of oleic acid, a monounsaturated fat that has been studied extensively for its role in supporting vascular health and reducing internal inflammation. Those two factors alone play a major role in how well your kidneys can function. Because everything your kidneys do depends on flow. They filter your blood continuously, adjusting fluid balance, removing waste, maintaining stability. When circulation is steady and the internal environment is calm, that process works efficiently. When it's not, even small disruptions begin to add up. What makes olive oil different is how it influences that process over time. Instead of creating a short-term effect, it helps sustain a more consistent internal state. Blood vessels remain more relaxed. Inflammatory signals are reduced. The system your kidneys rely on becomes easier to manage. That consistency is where the real change happens. Studies have shown that regular intake of extra virgin olive oil is associated with improved vascular function, reduced inflammatory markers, and better overall metabolic balance. Not in a dramatic, overnight way, but in a way that steadily shifts how your body operates. And that shift is noticeable. Energy becomes more stable. The body feels less reactive. That underlying sense of heaviness begins to fade, not because something is being forced out, but because the system is working more efficiently. What makes this stand out is how accessible it is. This isn't a specialty product. It's something already sitting in most kitchens, just not being used with intention. A simple daily routine is enough. 1 to 2 tablespoons, ideally taken consistently, gives your body what it needs to maintain that internal balance. It doesn't require complexity, just regular use. The quality, however, makes all the difference. Extra virgin cold-pressed olive oil retains the compounds responsible for its effect. Refined versions lose much of that value even if they appear similar. So this isn't about adding something new, it's about using something familiar in a way that actually supports how your body functions. And giving your kidneys the environment they need to keep doing their job day after day. At this point, you might be thinking, do you need all 5 of these to see a difference? You don't. Start simple. Pick one, ideally the one at the top of this list, and use it consistently each day. That alone is enough to begin shifting how your body responds. If you want to go a step further, you can add one more oil later in the day. Not everything at once, just enough to support your system without overwhelming it. The timing matters more than the quantity. Using it regularly at the same time each day helps your body adapt and respond more efficiently. Random use won't give you the same result, and this is where most people start to notice the change. Within a few days, your body begins to feel lighter. That constant heaviness after meals starts to ease. Your system feels more responsive, less sluggish. Give it about a week, and the difference becomes clearer. Energy feels more stable. Digestion runs more smoothly. You're not dealing with the same ups and downs throughout the day. By the end of the first month, the shift is hard to ignore. Your body isn't working as hard to keep up. Things feel more balanced, more consistent, and that's when you realize it was never about doing more. It was about doing the right thing, consistently. So don't overcomplicate it. Start with one. Stay consistent, let your body adjust, and build from there. And that's really what this comes down to. It's not about doing more for your body. It's about removing the extra strain that's been building up without you noticing. Most of the time, your system already knows how to function. The problem is, it's constantly working against what you're giving it, processing more than it should, handling what it doesn't need to. When that pressure is reduced, things begin to shift. Not in a dramatic way, but in a way you can feel. Your body responds more naturally. It doesn't have to fight as hard to stay balanced. And over time, that difference becomes clear, because your kidneys aren't meant to struggle every day. They're meant to work quietly, efficiently, in the background. And sometimes the smallest adjustments are what bring things back to that state. If this gave you a new perspective, take a second to like the video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.